Hey, what's up, everyone? So I wanted to make a review for the movie that I've talked about uh, this year quite a bit. I made two full videos on Spider-Man No Way Home, and I felt, it's appropriate that I review the movie that I've been speculating about. The movie's finally here. I'm a few days late, but uh, here are my thoughts on the newest Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. So, of course, people were very excited for this movie, and I'd say it's probably the most hyped Spider-Man movie so far, and yeah, it's gotten really great reviews, and it's I think it's like the third highest opening weekend of all time. So that's pretty crazy. But I was kind of expecting that. I mean, like, a movie that was as hyped as this, it's gonna kill at the box office. And yeah, it definitely did. I saw the movie on the 16th. So yeah, I'm a few days late, but I was able to see it opening night where I am, which was very cool. I did actually get spoiled for this film. I basically got spoiled for all the major reveals of the film. Thank you, YouTube, by the way. Yeah, YouTube was recommending me videos that had spoilers in the title and thumbnails. So, yeah, it's not the first time that I've been spoiled by YouTube for a movie. But anyway, what did I think of Spider-Man No Way Home? I really liked it. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. I was really going into this movie expecting that I would just, get excited excited to see the old characters come back, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna have a fun time with the old characters, and the movie's probably not gonna be that good in general. But I'm happy to say that the movie was actually good. And I don't just mean in regards to the old characters. They certainly did a good job with the old characters, but they actually improved on Tom Holland's Spider-Man. He actually feels more like Spider-Man in this movie. They finally got rid of that whole, oh, what would Tony Stark do, or what would Iron Man do, or whatever. Like, it's not, he doesn't think of, comparing him to, like, other heroes, or what could I can't, like, he's not, like, self-doubting. He actually thinks for himself in this film, which is what Spider-Man would do. He goes against Doctor Strange in this film, and I liked that. It felt more like Spider-Man. So yeah, for pretty much that reason alone, I mean, there's other reasons too, but even if it was just this reason, this is automatically the best of the Tom Holland trilogy. Easily. Like, it's not even a contest. No Way Home is easily the best of the trilogy, and I think everyone's agreeing on that. And yeah, so, we had Homecoming, which I didn't like, Far From Home, which I really didn't like, and now we have No Way Home, which is, just, blows those other two movies out of the water. So yeah, the first half of this film, a lot of people are saying that it was basically just spoiled in the trailers, and you pretty much know what happens in the first half of the film. His identity is revealed, he goes to Doctor Strange. The only part we didn't see was that Matt Murdock is in this film. Yeah, that rumor actually turned out to be true. I was actually thinking that it was more likely that Toby and Andrew were going to be in the film over Matt Murdock being in the film. Obviously both of those rumors ended up being true. I'll get to that later. But I wasn't really expecting Matt Murdock to be in this film. Like, I thought it was very unlikely, but I freaked out when I saw him. And I think really what almost sealed it for me was, for those of you who haven't watched the new episode of Hawkeye, episode 5 by the time I'm filming this, spoiler alert, but they reveal the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, at the end of the episode. And so I was like, okay, if Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio is back, they gotta have Charlie Cox's Daredevil back. And that made me think think that it was more likely that Matt Murdock was going to appear in No Way Home. And he is in this film. He's only in the movie for like a minute, but it was still awesome to see him. I mean, like, as soon as he sat down, I remember my theater gasped, and I did too. I was like, holy shit, you know. It was very cool to see him again. So anyway, yeah, he goes to Doctor Strange, just like you saw in the trailers. Doctor Strange tries to do a spell to make people forget that Peter's Spider-Man. Peter fucks it up, and then the multiverse opens, and, you know, Alfred Molina, Doc Ock comes back, Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe, you know, Sandman, Lizard, Electro. Yeah, it was really cool to see all these villains again. I wasn't expecting Lizard and Sandman to get as much dialogue as they did. I didn't know if the respective actors that played them were going to be coming back in this film. I thought they were just going to be like just CGI, you know, henchmen for the other villains, and they were just not going to have any lines. But they actually did have quite a few lines, which I was surprised by. You could tell that they weren't really there. Like the Thomas Hayden Church was not actually there for Sandman. He just recorded the voice. And I forget the actor's name who plays the Lizard, but you can tell he wasn't really there either. It was just recording the voice. But still, I appreciate that they at least got them to record the voice. The performances in this movie are top-notch. I mean, they, like, everyone does a fantastic job. Two in particular have the two best performances in the movie. And that's Tom Holland and Willem Dafoe. The two best performances in the entire movie by far. I mean, Tom Holland does a great job. He has a lot of great acting moments in this film. And Willem Dafoe, again, just like the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man, he captures the character of Norman Osborn so well. I mean, a lot of people are saying he deserves an Oscar for this film. And yeah, I certainly think that he should definitely be considered because, yeah, he was great in this film. So yeah, Tom Holland, Willem Dafoe did a great job. The only part about Willem Dafoe in this movie that I didn't like, which I don't even think was his fault, is when he says the line, a callback to the first film, when he says, you know, I'm something of a scientist myself. A lot of people I heard really liked that one. They thought it was cool, but I personally did not like when he said that because it just felt unnatural to me. There was just something about it that was just like, it just didn't sound natural. You know, he said, like, again, it's probably because it's a meme at this point, and like I was hoping that they were not gonna put any memes from like the Raimi trilogy or TASM. Like, I was really hoping they were not going to do any of that. Now, luckily, you know, they don't really do that a lot. I think that line said by Norman Osborn is, like, the only time they reference any of the memes. Well, I mean, technically, if you want to get technical, when Doc Ock says, the power of the sun in the palm of my hand, that is kind of a meme, but that was better because it didn't feel as unnatural as Norman's line, but, yeah. But other than that, you know, I'm glad that they did not bring in any fucking memes and try to, you know, have jokes with that. A big thing in this movie is that Aunt May dies. She's killed by the Green Goblin, and the scene was really well acted. It was really good. And I like how, you know, this version of Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter, actually finally gets some, you know, consequences for, you know, doing the stuff he does, you know, because he was just kind of like, in the last two movies, like not really losing anyone other than Tony Stark, and we come to find out that, you know, Uncle Ben doesn't really seem to matter to this version of Peter Parker, because Aunt May is the one that tells him, with great power comes great responsibility, which I personally found to be very weird. She says that to him right before she dies, and I just found it to be very weird, because it's like, are they using this whole entire trilogy as an origin story for this version of Peter Parker? Because, like, shouldn't he... I just wish that he would have already learned that lesson before Homecoming, because he's already Spider-Man at the beginning of Homecoming, so, like, we don't need his, origin story told to us. But I guess the entire trilogy is, like, a technically now a origin story for him, which I just found to be very weird, and I'm not really a fan of that idea. So after Aunt May dies, Peter's, like, vengeful. He wants to kill the Green Goblin, and, he's just, like, he's, like, a complete mess. So, eventually, Ned tries to... He has, like, this, wrist thing that Doctor Strange gave him or something, and, he tries to find Peter with the portals, and that's when he brings in Andrew's Peter and Toby's Peter, which, great moment, I gotta say. I mean, the entire theater just gasped when Andrew showed up and when Toby showed up, and it was a really exciting moment. Honestly, I wish I could relive that moment, because it's on rewatches. When I rewatch this film, it's just not going to be the same experience, so I wish I could relive that moment. But yeah, it's a great moment. It was really cool, and I cried when Toby showed up. It's not an exaggeration. As soon as Toby stepped out of that portal, I was not even expecting it, I was not expecting to cry. I knew Toby was going to show up as soon as Andrew showed up, but I just started crying because it was just so surreal to see Toby again as Spider-Man on the big screen for the first time in 14 years. So yeah, seeing my favorite live-action Peter Parker and childhood Spider-Man really got a reaction out of me. So we get a lot of jokes between the three Spider-Men, which I thought, some of them were funny, but I think there was a little bit too much jokes in that final fight. Like, I get they're trying to, this is like we might not ever see this again, so, like, I get that they're trying to throw in as much jokes as possible, because, it's kind of like a one-time chance that they're going to get at this. So I understand it from that perspective, but I just feel like there was still a little bit too much jokes. I wish they would have kind of cut back on it a little bit. Again, it's not that they're not funny. It was just, there was a little bit too much. I felt like it was turning into an SNL skit all of a sudden. But yeah, we get some really cool moments in that final battle. Andrew saving MJ, that was great. That was probably the best Andrew moment, and possibly the best moment during that final battle, dare I say it. But that moment was great. We get some moments at the end when they cure the villains. You get Andrew talking to Max Steel and Electro, and that's a great moment. And you also get Toby's Peter talking to Doc Ock, which is fantastic. That was a great moment too. I love Otto's line when he says, "You're all grown up," and yeah, it was just that moment was really cool. And yeah, so there's also the last part of the battle where Tom's Peter just goes all out on Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe, and he's like kicking the shit out of him. He's punching him hard, and he's about to impale him with his own glider, and then Toby's Peter stops him. And I thought that moment was great. And then Toby's Peter gets stabbed by Norman, which, like, I mean, the theater freaked out when that happened. And yeah, he doesn't die, thankfully. I was really hoping they were not going to kill off any of the Spider-Man in this movie, because I just felt like that would have been kind of dumb. because I hate the idea of any adaptation. I don't care what kind of Spider-Man it is. I hate the concept of Spider-Man dying in a final battle and getting like killed by a villain. I do not like that concept. I prefer the concept of Spider-Man growing old with Mary Jane or whoever he ends up marrying and having a kid and, you know, like retiring from being Spider-Man. That's the concept that I want to see, and that's the concept that I prefer, other than him just getting killed in a final battle. So like, thankfully Tobey's Peter does not die. Eventually, Peter is talking to Doctor Strange, and he basically is like, you know, let's make everyone forget, even my friends, you know. And so he says goodbye to his friends, and that was a good scene. And then he, you know, everyone forgets. Happy forgets. You know, there's a good scene that after everyone forgets he's Spider-Man at the end, where he visits Aunt May's grave, and Happy appears, and Happy does not know who he is. He like the spell makes it so not only do they forget he's Spider-Man, they forget who Peter Parker is entirely. So that was kind of a sad scene when he's at Aunt May's grave and Happy appears, and he doesn't even know who he is. Like, but he just knew who Aunt May was. So, you know, that was a pretty upsetting scene. That was a pretty that was a good scene. But after that, you know, the final scene of the film is him making his own costume. He doesn't have, like, you know, Tony Stark tech to build these like fancy suits. He actually just like knits his own costume, and it's like a classic red and blue, and it looks great. We didn't get like a clear shot of it, but from what we did see, it looks amazing. And then he swings for the final shot of the film, which was great. And then we have the mid-credit scene and the post-credit scene, which both of them I hated. They were both extremely disappointed. Okay, I didn't hate them, but I just felt like they weren't really that good of a post-credit scene. I thought the mid-credit scene was just kind of dumb. We have Tom Hardy's Venom, which a lot of people wanted him to be in the film, but he's only in the mid-credit scene, which I find that to be really weird, because at the end of the post-credit scene, he disappears and goes back to his own universe. So it's like, what was the point of setting that up? You know, in the post-credit scene of Venom Let There Be Carnage, which I have watched since the last video I talked about this. But yeah, he sees Tom Holland, he gets transported to the MCU, and he sees Tom Holland's Spider-Man on TV screen, and you get the hint that there's going to be a fight between them. And then in this movie, he just gets transported back. He leaves a part of the symbiote behind, which I guess gives the hint that Tom's Peter is going to come in contact with the symbiote, which I guess is exciting. But yeah, what was the point of transporting Venom to the MCU if he's just going to get transported back in the next mid-credit scene? Yeah, I thought it was very dumb. And the scene itself is just terrible. I mean, they try to do these jokes with Venom, which I did not find funny. And then we have the post-credit scene, which I was extremely disappointed by. It's not that it's bad, but it's just a trailer for Doctor Strange 2. That's it. I was expecting something with Daredevil. I was expecting something with Matt Murdock. That would have made sense. But instead it's just a trailer for Doctor Strange 2, and I was like, come on, like, you're really gonna just put a trailer as the post-credit scene? I mean, I thought it was really lame. Like, don't put something that I can just watch on YouTube when it releases, you know? Like, it was extremely disappointed. I was wanting something with Daredevil, but regardless, you know, the post-credit scenes, they don't matter as much as, you know, the movie itself, but I'm just saying that they were both extremely disappointing. But yeah, so overall, Spider-Man No Way Home is a very fun film. Some people are calling it the best Spider-Man film, and their favorite Spider-Man film, whatever. And if you think that, that's awesome. I personally disagree. This was not even close to being my favorite Spider-Man film. So I'm going to give you my quick ranking now. At number 11 is still my least favorite Spider-Man film, Far From Home. I'm pretty sure you guys expected that, but yeah, Far From Home still sucks. At number 10 is the first Venom film. Yeah, sucks. At number 9 is the newest Venom film, Venom Let There Be Carnage. Like I said, I did watch it since the last time I talked about Spider-Man No Way Home, and I hated it. It was really bad, I thought. The comedy, there's a lot of comedy, and I just did not laugh at all. I hate this version of Venom. I hate that he's just kind of pretty much just a goofball. He's not really intimidating at all. At number 8 is TASM 2. Yeah, I already stated my reasons. You know, we all know why this is low on the list. At number 7 is Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 6 is The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Number 5 is No Way Home. So yeah, it's my 5th favorite Spider-Man movie. Yeah, I like the entire Raimi trilogy more, and I like Spider-Verse more. So number 4 is Spider-Man 3. Number 3 is Into the Spider-Verse. And number 2 is Spider-Man 1. Number 1 is, of course, Spider-Man 2. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of No Way Home. Is it your favorite Spider-Man movie? Is it, you know, how much did you like No Way Home? So yeah, that's all I had to say. My next video is probably going to be my annual ranking video of all the books I read this year. So yeah, that's probably going to be in January, hopefully. If not January, then February definitely. Yeah, I just have a lot going on right now, so yeah, but thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good night.